Can I have everyone's attention, please? Please stand for the national anthem. Please welcome Citadel Corps members, Cadets Logan Haymaker, an electrical engineer, and William Strunk, a civil engineer, who will sing the national anthem for us tonight.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please be seated. Wow, thank you guys. As you can see, there is more to engineering students than just solving tough engineering problems, marching, doing PT. Some can even sing. Not me, I just mouth the words. If you saw me, that's all I was doing. Good evening, I am Ron Welch. I had the distinct privilege of being the Dean of Engineering, and tonight I have the honor of being the Master of Ceremonies. Welcome to the 8th and 9th, yes, the 8th and 9th Annual Academy of Engineers Awards Banquet. We are inducting 2 classes this year due to COVID-19 last spring that truly brought all activities to outside of our homes to a halt. We are delighted that we were able to host this event with most of the inductees. And by the way, this is the first event in 14 months in this building. So engineers always lead the way. We're hosting this event this evening with mostly inductees and their families, some previous inductees that were able to travel here, members of the Board of Visitors, Foundation Board members, and senior leadership at the Citadel, as well as in the School of Engineering. We are so grateful to Dewberry for their being the lead sponsor in honor of Don Stone, one of our inductees tonight. They send their regards. Congrats to all we honor tonight. So please help me thank Dewberry. And Don, please stand and be recognized. And of course, I think it's fitting with my last name being Welch. There's grapes, you know, hey, all this stuff comes together sometimes incredibly, right? Thank you, Don. We would like to thank our steel sponsor, Stantec, who is sponsoring on behalf of Rick Day, another one of our inductees tonight. Please help me to thank Stantec. Rick, please stand. We'd like to thank our copper level sponsor, Ms. Rebecca Ufkes, for this incredible support. Even though she can't be here tonight, she has a death in the family, and that's where she is at, where she needs to be. But she sends her regards, and congratulations to all the other inductees tonight. So a round of applause for her. The next group that we'd like to thank are those sponsoring above the table level. And I'll be honest, it happens that they sponsor the table each year. And so they did it last year and they did it again this year. So we're very blessed by them. Please rise and be recognized when I call your name. There's one of them here. Please hold your applause until all are standing and have been recognized. Mr. Al Frelinger with Frelinger Engineering, Academy of Engineering inductee in 2017. He's not here tonight. Mr. Charlie Potts, Academy of Engineers inductee in 2014, was supposed to be here 2 days ago. He said, he's got a flare up. And then Mr. and Mrs. Mark Ty, Academy of Engineers inductee 2019. Mark, thank you. We have a number of table sponsors, so please rise and be recognized when I call your name. Please hold your applause until all are standing and have been recognized. There's 2 slides as we go through this. Mr. Charles Coe, Academy of Engineers inductee in 2018. Colonel J.C. Dominic, Academy of Engineers inductee 2018. Mr. Jerry Friedner, Academy of Engineers inductee 2016. Gus Bell, Academy of Engineers inductee 2014. LS3P Associates Limited, the whole table needs to probably stand. At least someone need to stand, please, one person. There you go. Lieutenant General Buck Schuler, Academy of Engineers inductee 2017. The Stone family. Ladies, stand up, please. There you go. Okay, great. General Glenn Walters, Academy of Engineering inductee 2020. Sir? Okay. There, 8th class, sorry. 9th class. Mr. Guy White, Academy of Engineers inductee 2015, and Mary Graves. So let's give them all a round of applause. And as most of you have noticed, there is no charge for you to be here, and none of your guests. And that's because we're so blessed in engineering. Every year since we began, we've had enough people sponsor the event, either at the lead, a steel or copper level, or table sponsors to fully host the event. So let's give all of those sponsors another round of applause. We will begin with a few introductions before dinner. And so you new inductees, remember I'm asking for you to be doing that in the future. Just a little aside, that foundation stuff rubbing off on me. We're fortunate to have some of our past Academy of Engineering inductees in attendance tonight. We'd like to recognize each group, and if they're one of the individuals is here, please stand. So class of 2013, as you can see up there. Of course, that first class included both Colonel Letelier, which many of you are very fond of, and then Major General Letelier, who I became very, very fond of as I got to work with him until his most recent passing. 2014, you can see a lot of the names of people that are sponsoring tables for us. 2015. 2016. Of course, we got Jerry Friedner with. Jerry, please stand, be recognized. 2017. 2018. Colonel Dominic, please stand and be recognized. And 2019. Mr. Mark Tye, please stand and be recognized. At this point, what I'd like to do is just have a moment of silence for the loss of so many first responders, Citadel alumni, and their families in this pandemic. We've also lost 2 of our recent Academy Engineers inductees, Major General Art Baden and Mr. Edwin Burrow Hill. Thank you. It's been a tough year for everyone, but it's great to be standing here with you all and being able to celebrate success. And that's what we're going to be doing tonight. But first, I would like to introduce some of the people that are here with us tonight. Please stand as I introduce you. Joining us tonight, our Citadel Provost and Dean of the College, Brigadier General Sally Selden. We're pleased to have several members of the Citadel Board of Visitors with us this evening. Would you please stand and be when announced, and please hold your applause until they're all been recognized. Colonel Allison D. Love, Colonel J.C. Dominic, U.S. Air Force retired, and Emeritus Chairman of the Board, Colonel Doug Schneider. Thank you for your service to the We're pleased to have a member of the Citadel Foundation Board of Directors with us this evening, Mr. Jay Kinnan. Would you stand and be recognized? Also here from the Citadel administration, would you please stand and be when announced, and please hold your applause until all have been announced. Colonel Tom Filipkowski, Senior Vice President for Operations and Administration, Captain Gina Peluso, Commandant of Cadets, Captain Jeff Lamberson, VP for Facilities and Engineering, and Lieutenant Colonel Aaron Meadows, Citadel Chaplain. And another special guest, somebody near and dear to me, is Colonel Charles Dunn, past Professor of Military Science for the Navy. Thank you for being here. Of course, the most important people in the room, that is next to our 6 inductees. I'm sorry, the rest of you are not that important. As those that are in the School of Engineering, our students, faculty, staff, and volunteers of the School of Engineering, and their families who are joining us here tonight. Will faculty and staff please stand and remain standing? Faculty and staff, please stand and remain standing. Will students please stand and remain standing? Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you one more round of applause. I present to you the number 17th ranked School of Engineering in the country. Thank you all for what you do for the Citadel. It can't be possible without the faculty, and it's not possible without the students. And both of you going out to conferences, competitions, and showing the rest of the nation what we have here in Charleston. I would like to especially recognize Cadet Catherine Christmas, please stand. And Cadet Eric Skinner, please stand. For those of you who don't know, Cadet Christmas is the incoming regimental commander for next year, and Cadet Skinner is the incoming academic officer next year. So Tom, if you're keeping count, that's 2 out of 9, top 9, School of Engineering. Okay. Just wanted to make sure everybody recognized. We'd also like to recognize our volunteer members of our advisory boards who give us guidance and assist us in the school and department strategic planning, and most importantly, our fundraising efforts. Would you please stand and remain standing when announced, and please hold your applause until all in attendance have been recognized. School of Engineering Advisory Board, please stand. Come on. I know, too many beers already. All right. Civil Engineering Advisory Board, Electrical Engineering Advisory Board, Engineering Leadership and Project Management Advisory Board, Mechanical Engineering Advisory Board, and Construction Engineering Advisory Board. Give them all a round of applause, please. So how about that, Chuck? Your first meeting, you get a round of applause, man. I'm telling you. Yeah, there you go. Chuck and I served a long time ago together. Thank you all for what you do for the School of Engineering. We can't do it. Please forgive me if I've somehow missed someone. Everyone who is with us tonight is a special part of the School of Engineering family. Let me now call on Chaplain Aaron Meadows for the invocation.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, the engineer and sustainer of all life, we give you thanks that we can come and celebrate the newest inductees into the Academy of Engineers, that we can celebrate their careers and achievements and the contributions that they have made. We pray that you would bless all engineers as they continue to work and continue to contribute to society, and allow us to remember the work they do and the debt of gratitude we have for the ways they contribute to our societies. We pray that you would bless this evening, bless the food, bless our school, and this time of celebration as we come to the end of another academic year. We pray that you would bless our country and the entire world as we continue to live within your grace. We pray all this to you because yours is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen.
During dinner, we will show a select group of YouTube videos that were on when you came in. Unfortunately, the sound will be off because I've learned in past 10 years that the noise in here will be so loud you couldn't hear it anyway. Right? But it will be for our audience. And they're about the Citadel. A few of the engineering ones are in there as well. But we think it's important that everybody is able, that's watching us from Zoom, be able to get a very good feel for what the Citadel is about. We hope that you enjoy your meal. And as we break bread here in the Holiday Alumni Center, we hope those out in the Zoom world are also breaking bread with us as we celebrate past and current Citadel alumni, Citadel Academy of Engineering inductees. We will start the program around 7-ish, based upon how soon everybody gets fed. There is hand sanitizer at the tables. I want to note, Tom, just making sure, okay? Please use it freely and often. Please enjoy your dinner. Thank you. Program. Please continue with your dinner, your desserts, the coffee's over here to my right, your left. And of course, the bar will be available throughout the evening. So please continue to visit those. Our Academy of Engineers banquet gives us the opportunity to recognize distinguished engineering leaders by inducting them into our Academy of Engineers. It also allows us to recognize students and faculty who just demonstrate these same characteristics while excelling in the classroom. Unfortunately, most are not here tonight based on teaching, and we do teach evening classes, studying, and we're 2 weeks away from finals, and we had to limit the number of people in the room. So we will recognize a small subset of those in our program. If you are a member of Tau Beta Pi, please stand. If you are an officer, there you go. Stand, sir. Yeah. Stay standing, Tau Beta Pi, please. If you are an officer of one of our clubs, student clubs, please stand. If you are a faculty or student listed in the program with one of the awards, please stand. I think they're already standing. Let's give them a round of applause. Congratulations to each of you for your hard work in the classroom, both student and faculty. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a true honor for me to introduce Brigadier General Sally Selden. Dr. Sally Selden is the provost and dean of the college. As the college chief academic officer and second ranking official, she leads strategic planning for the college's academic mission and ensures academic programs are world-class and aligned with the college's core values. Prior to the Citadel, Dr. Selden spent 18 years at the University of Lynchburg, where she served as provost for 4 years, following positions at every level of the university. She began her teaching career as an assistant professor at the University of Oklahoma, Okie, right? Is that right? Okay, all right, Okie. Selden is a distinguished scholar and teacher of nonprofit management, human resources management, and leadership studies. She has published extensively, and her work has appeared in numerous distinguished publications. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Selden.
Good evening. My colleagues at my table told me to be brief. So, however, I may fail a little bit, but I'm so excited. This is my first time out in public and getting to speak face to face. So I want to take advantage of this moment. And it is such an honor to be here to welcome all of you for this very special occasion. We are celebrating a truly impressive group of individuals. And as we learn more about their accomplishments tonight, we will all be able to acknowledge what an impact they have had on our communities. The Citadel's Academy of Engineers honors engineering leaders from both the public and the private sector who have enjoyed substantial success in their professional lives and have made significant contributions to their communities. This is so important. All of our inductees have lived a life consistent with the Citadel School of Engineering's mission, which is to educate and develop principled engineering leaders to serve a global community. When I look at tonight's inductees, I'm really impressed with the level of prominence they have achieved in their fields. We welcome a group of forward-thinking and passionate inductees whose impacts extend not just across the state of South Carolina, but across the globe. For our alumni, which are very special to us, who are being inducted today, they represent the heights that our alumni can achieve, bolstered, of course, by that Citadel education. Now, for more than 2 decades, I've actually been in higher education, and I have to say, as a provost and former faculty member, without any question, this is one of the most challenging times we've ever experienced. But even before we had a pandemic, we were already participating in what is arguably the most significant social transformation that we've seen since the Industrial Revolution 2 decades ago. Digital technology has transformed how we communicate. It's transformed how we educate students, how we deliver healthcare, and that's just to name a few of the things that have been transformed by digital technology. And I have to tell you, the COVID-19 pandemic has only accelerated that transformation. And here on campus, and I see some of my faculty colleagues out there, we're all aware firsthand just how much that has changed in terms of how we deliver and how we interact with our students. The pandemic has also impacted our supply chains. We spent a lot of time talking about toilet paper, just so you know, last summer. Our infrastructure and our real estate markets, for sure. We, like other colleges, have been challenged, but the Citadel has risen to meet those challenges, and we have accomplished what few other institutions can say that we have done. And as we move through this pandemic, and yes, we will move through it, the acceleration of these changes will continue to shape us. We might see biology-based security measures, global connectivity for all transactions, working environments without offices, pilot airplanes, and I know that really upsets my folks from the Air Force out there, and driverless cars, cloud-based college. These changes are coming whether or not we want them. And at the heart of many of these changes are actually engineers. Engineering is so core to the Citadel. It's been a part of our curriculum since its founding in 1842, which makes the Citadel among the first 5 colleges in the United States that offered engineering. And it was, in fact, the first in the state of South Carolina. In the 1843 Board of Visitor meeting minutes, the board laid out their intended course of studies at the Citadel, which included both civil and military engineering. Engineering at that time was taught to seniors. And until 1853, the course was called Engineering and Science of War. And then in 1854, it changed to Civil and Military Engineering and Science of War. The first professor of engineering was Major R.W. Colcock, a graduate of West Point, I know you like that, and a native of Beaufort, South Carolina. And he was the second superintendent of the Citadel. In 1847, it was resolved by the Board of Visitors that whomever was the superintendent would also serve as a professor of engineering. See, engineering was very important. And this resolution lasted through 1865 when the school was closed in the aftermath of the Civil War. When the Civil War reopened in 1882, mathematics and engineering was one of the 5 branches of study offered to cadets, and courses were taught to both juniors and seniors. Some of the courses at the time included civil engineering, stresses in bridges and roofs and ceilings, stability of structures in general, and civil engineering, strength of materials, retaining walls, and lectures on hydraulic and sanitary engineering. These sound really interesting to me. And the 2 earliest degrees in engineering were civil, which was authorized in 1910, and electrical, which was authorized in 1941. But interestingly, because of World War II, the first electrical engineering degrees were not awarded by the Citadel until 1948. So we're going to skip a few years. In 2002, the School of Engineering was formed when the college reorganized its existing departments into schools. And over the life of the college, our engineering programs have grown and soared in terms of excellence and quality of graduates. Today, the School of Engineering consists of 4 departments, and these departments offer 5 undergraduate majors, 4 master's programs, and a series of graduate certificates. And currently, our faculty are preparing to move our graduate programs online. That allows us to reach a broader audience and to offer greater flexibility to working professionals. The quality of our programs is recognized by the U.S. News and World Report, as Dean Welch talked about just earlier, who ranked the Citadel School of Engineering 17th, very impressive, among all undergraduate engineering programs without a doctoral degree in the United States. These accomplishments are a testament to Dean Welch's leadership, our department chairs, our faculty, and our staff. And I would like to make a very special note of appreciation to Dean Welch for 10 years of exceptional service. So please join me in And I have to tell you, what I love most about engineers is they don't sit back and watch. They actually make things happen. I know I work for an engineer, just so you know. And they tend to work toward a common goal. That is to build a sustainable world. The world is changing, and engineers are the ones who are behind so many of those changes in the developments. The majority of services and procedures today have some element of engineering involved in their conception. In an advanced technological world, we need engineers to bring ideas to reality. Today's and tomorrow's engineers will deliver solutions to what I call wicked problems. And a wicked problem is one that is ill-formed, complex, and resistant to solution. When coupled with problem-based learning, wicked problems form great opportunities for engineering students to draw from a broad educational basis. And at the Citadel, we have a stellar and innovative faculty who inspire our students and provide them with stimulating educational experiences where they develop their academic competencies and they apply them practically. It is the perfect world for our students. Dr. Deidre Reagan and a colleague, for example, received a grant entitled Bridging Undergraduate Innovation Laboratories to Design for Sustainability. Our engineering programs stand out as some of the very best in this country, and they provide our graduates with a very strong foundation in today's fully connected world. Our programs are about doing. Students engage in high-impact practices, which is about the understanding that is gained from the experience of solving a problem. As Confucius counseled in analytics, I hear and I forget, I read and I remember, but I do and I understand. Our engineering programs offer a hands-on curriculum full of in-depth laboratory work, interactive courses, innovative instructional methods, field trips, guest speakers who know a lot about what's happening in the field of practice, and most importantly, interactions with mentors from the professional world. Citadel students are immersed in a dynamic and synergistic learning environment, which is rigorous and demanding, and we're really proud of that, but also an environment that is very supportive and very enriching, even in this crazy virtual world they've been living in for the past 12 months. I'll give you one last example from last summer. Dr. Deidre Reagan and some of her students had a really amazing opportunity. They were able to engage with a nonprofit organization, a team called P&G, that were working on COVID-19 related solutions. And how did this happen? It happened because a Citadel and honors alumnus reached out to Dr. Reagan and expressed some concerns about internship opportunities for Citadel students because of COVID-19. And so what he did is he invited them to get engaged in this nonprofit's work And over the summer, 4 of our students were able to work with this nonprofit, and they engaged in online research, grant writing, social media messaging, all great things to do, fundraising, and design testing. And I'm just going to mention a couple, and they did some amazing things, just a couple of COVID-related projects they were engaged with. They helped design outdoor shelters using cardboard tools, okay, related to COVID. They worked on converting a 20-foot shipping container to be a mobile COVID testing center. And they helped redesign a one-piece disposable protective gown that would be used. Now, what's really interesting is all of these things were used, but all of them were used in Australia. But the volunteer team was comprised of individuals in Australia, Europe, and the United States. And what an opportunity it was for our students. They were able to experience a Google-styled, multinational problem-solving team. It was amazing, and it was because of an alumni reaching out, concerned about our students. And at the core of our School of Engineering, its mission is really about student success. With a 4-year graduation rate of 64%, our engineering students have a near 99% job placement within the first 6 months of graduation. That's truly an accomplishment. There is no question that our future operations will be shaped by practices that resulted from the pandemic response. But in the long run, I'm going to be completely honest with you. As provost, I can't believe that Zoom is going to be the answer for the exploratory, creative, and innovative work that is required to develop the types of solutions we need to deal with the vexing challenges that we've got to tackle. But whether we like it or not, there are now 2 worlds, the remote and the in-person, in which education and work happens. We need to be strategic about how we use them both. And what I know is that our engineering school and faculty are going to lead the way about how to do that. I really appreciate everybody being here tonight. For me, it is truly a special evening to be gathered face to face and to be celebrating such an accomplished group of individuals. To the inductees, congratulations. We are extremely proud of you. Being inducted into the Citadel Academy of Engineers is truly an impressive accomplishment. So I'm going to turn it back over to Dean Welsh. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. And I would like to add just one little piece. In 1916, there were only 3 degrees: literature, sciences, and civil engineering. It doesn't get better than that, right? It just doesn't get better than that. So now we move to the main event, and the reason we're here tonight, to the induction of our 8th and 9th classes into the Citadel Academy of Engineers. The Citadel Academy of Engineers honors engineering leaders from both the public and private sectors who've enjoyed substantial success in their professional lives and made significant contributions to their communities. All our inductees have lived a life consistent with the Citadel School of Engineering mission, which is to educate and develop principal leaders to serve a global community. And with the school's values to include integrity, diversity, respect for others, professionalism, and intellectual development for all, and excellence through continuous improvement. The School of Engineering has chosen the crystal obelisk as our tangible memento of being inducted into the Academy of Engineers. The obelisk represents the engineers of our past who built and invented engineering feats like the Washington Monument, the Transcontinental Railroad, the Brooklyn Bridge, the telegraph, the automobile, the electrification of our nation and the world, to mention just a few of the structures and devices that were built and invented without the incredible tools we have today. That's what I really want you to think about, is how those things were built. When we look around ourselves and see all these large mechanical devices that build what we have today. In addition, we feel that each of our inductees have been servant leaders. That is, engineering leaders who see their role in the world to first serve others through their incredible skills. All of our inductees represent engineering excellence in business, the military, and in engineering. I will introduce each recipient with a brief comments since their bio is in the program, and then ask each inductee to provide remarks. Our first Academy of Engineering Award goes to Mr. Rick Day. Mr. Rick Day is a 2020 honoree. He's currently Vice President of Stantec, oversees the firms in the Southeast and Midwest regions of that company. He's a Citadel class of 1977 with a BS in civil engineering. And he played basketball. And you'll see that when he gets up here that I did not play basketball. He received, after graduation, received an MS in civil engineering at Georgia Tech, where I want you to note his research at Georgia Tech is still standard signal design practice today. Incredible. Because he was a certified professional traffic operations engineer, he was the person put in charge of all the planning and execution of the transportation networks for the 1996 Atlanta Summer Olympics. Focus today on the $1 billion, and I'll remind that a B, billion, widening of 526 here in the Low Country. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Rick Day is being inducted for his incredible 40-plus year civil engineering career, his incredible large infrastructure projects that had a profound effect, such as the 1996 Summer Olympics, and his expertise in traffic engineering that resulted in completion of numerous hallmark projects throughout the country. Mr. Rick Day.
Thank you so much.
Okay, we're going to turn here.
Okay.
You get the middle.
Middle.
You can see what I'm talking about here.
Okay.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
For you.
Good evening. What an honor. Not just to be selected for this position by your peers, but also amongst the fine people that are already in the academy. So it is a distinct honor to be here tonight. So when I thought about what I might want to say up here tonight, I looked back a few years when I was a freshman at the Citadel. Well, maybe more than a few years. It was the first semester. It was a Sunday morning. I was laying in my bed, anticipating what was going to happen that week. And quite frankly, I was a little overwhelmed. And I said, okay, I'm gonna make a plan. And I said, maybe this engineering curriculum just isn't for me. I said, maybe I ought to go to my faculty advisor and have a conversation about this. Anyway, so long story short, when I was going to my faculty advisor, I was stopped by a couple of professors and one of the cadets, my classmates, that encouraged me about where I was and how I was making good progress in my career on the Citadel campus. And that made all the difference in the world. Made all the difference in the world. Of course, you know the story. I never went to see the faculty advisor, graduated engineering, and made a great life out of it. But I do want to say that it is so important to have those mentors, those people that are encouragers around you to make you all what you are. That's what shaped me. Really, there's people here tonight that fall in that category. There are people that are far away that fall in that category. And of course, there's people that are up in heaven that are part of my mentors. So thank you, all of you, for that. Also would be remiss if I didn't thank my family sitting at this table, all the love they share with me, specifically my wife, Kathy, wave your hand, my high school sweetheart. And anyway, I've got a great family there, and she is my best cheerleader. But if you know her, she is also one to kind of put me back in my place when she thinks I need it, right? But anyway, thank you so much. It's a wonderful honor tonight. And I truly do think the Citadel is a tremendous support for where I'm at today. So thank you so much.
Congratulations, Rick. Our next Citadel Academy of Engineering Award goes to Don Stone Jr., a 2020 honoree, currently CEO of Dewberry, a 2,200 person engineering, architecture, and construction firm, 50 offices nationwide, where he's been focused over the last few years in growing the company with 6 acquisitions over the last 10 years in Southeast and California. Citadel class of 1980, a bachelor's degree in civil engineering. While at the Citadel, he enlisted in the National Guard, went to basic and advanced training, and also went to airborne school to jump out of perfectly good airplanes. Commissioned Corps of Engineers as a second lieutenant. Sir, thank you for your service. Worked for O'Brien and Gear for 25 years, where he rose to COO and president of the firm's Total Water Solutions division before transitioning to Dewberry as its COO and now CEO. Ladies and gentlemen, Don Stone is being inducted for his nearly 40-year career leading engineering companies, most notably within engineering, architecture, and construction. His business skills as an engineer through growing 2 companies through acquisitions, his leadership skills in developing others within O'Brien and Gear, and especially in Dewberry, which I got to see firsthand at a competition, and the dedication of his alma mater through his service on the School of Engineering Advisory Board. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Don Stone.
Congratulations, well deserved.
3, 1, 2.
Hold it, or you're going to skate.
Thank you. Well, thank you very much. First thing I would like to do is introduce my family. They're here tonight. Crystal and Matt Brandon, and the 2 special young ladies that are there, Shay and Sadie Brandon. Thank you for coming tonight. Really appreciate it. My other daughter, Elise, and her fiance, Luciano, who are going to be married in about 9 days. And it's coming. And of course, my wife, Leslie. Thank you. I have to add a little color in the bio. They had a little statement that Leslie and I met in kindergarten. And yes, that is true. That was a couple years ago, and we did meet in kindergarten. But, I was a relatively thin, small kind of guy, not really impressive at all for probably the first 20 years of my life. But I have to thank General Walters and your classmates, because they taught me the art of a push-up. And somehow that transformed some muscle groups that all of a sudden I became noticed. So, sir, thank you very much. Appreciate it. I'm not sure if you were in 3rd Battalion, but if you were, you probably contributed to that. So thank you very much, sir. But it's been a great ride so far. So there are 4 points I'd just like to make tonight very quickly. First, relative to the success that I've been able to achieve so far, the first element is you have to pick your partner well. When you're celebrating an element, you have to have that right partner. When something great happens at work and all you can think of is going home and celebrating that event with your partner. And my partner, 40 years, thank you. Appreciate that. The School of Engineering taught me some really interesting things over the years. And the first one that I really wanted to highlight is you have to hone your craft as an engineer every single day. And the School of Engineering taught me the fundamentals of curiosity. And that curiosity is, well, they didn't only teach us how to apply a formula. They taught us how to derive that formula. They didn't teach us just how to make something work. They taught us how to make something work better. And that's what the School of Engineering does. And that curiosity will serve you with a lifetime of learning. So curiosity is extremely important. Every minute of every hour of every day, your subordinates are watching you. The way you carry yourself and the discipline of your decision-making is critical. Discipline has underpinned everything we've been able to do. Extremely important. Leadership. Sir? Yes, sir. I probably didn't thank your classmates back in 1976, sir. So thank you for that. Yes, but guns aren't quite there either, sir, anymore. But leadership has been very important as well. And whether you're going through your knob year or your rat year at BMI or your plebe year at West Point, or whether you're going through basic training, as a recruit. The one thing that got us through that was humility. We all had to develop a sense of humility in order to achieve that success. And that humility then drove into empathy. If you can develop your leadership style to use humility and empathy, you will create tremendous followership. So on behalf of the School of Engineering, thank you very much, sir. Thank you for the honor.
Our next Citadel Academy of Engineers Award goes to Lieutenant General Robert Van Antwerp, Jr. Lieutenant General Van Antwerp is a 2020 inductee. He's currently Vice Chairman of the Flippin Group, a Texas-based leadership organizational development company specializing in talent assessment, development, and alignment. Graduated from the United States Military Academy, also has an MBA from Long Island University and an MS in mechanical engineering from the University of Michigan, which led to him serving in the Department of Mechanics at West Point. A leader of leaders, Lieutenant General Van Antwerp retired from the Army after 39 years of service, where his last assignment was Commanding General of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. Sir, thank you for your service. Séance.
Thank you, Ron.
Ladies and gentlemen, Lieutenant General Van Antwerp is inducted for his dedication and sacrifice as an Army officer with a 39-year career in the Corps of Engineers, culminating as the Commanding General of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. His continuing development of leaders after the military within industry, as well as serving as a board director on numerous profit and nonprofit organizations, and for being an inspiration for me, for your calm, thoughtful leadership as a young Corps of Engineer officer as I served under you. Ladies and gentlemen, Lieutenant General Van Antwerp.
Well, thank you, Ron. I think the first thing I need to do is show you my award that Ron sent to me, and it made it safe and sound, and it'll be in a prominent place. And Ron, I want to thank you for the kind introduction and the days we spent together in the Corps of Engineers. This is a high honor for me, and I apologize to everybody that I couldn't be there tonight, but I'm glad I can join you in what has become the common way of having meetings, and that is on Zoom. I'm proud to be named among the great engineers already that I've watched tonight in the class of 2020, and also those in earlier years in the academy. You know, growing up, I always dreamed of being an engineer. My father was a mechanical engineer, and I'm a mechanical engineer. I used to take things apart. My mother used to say, "Do you think you'll get that back together?" Well, some of the things did get put back together, and some of them actually worked. As I said, my dad was a mechanical engineer, and he was an inventor also and an entrepreneur. And I watched as he invented the belt drive turntable in the basement. That's a record changer for some of those of you that only know DVDs and CDs and all the new things out there. And then he went on to build a thriving company around it. I knew from the day I entered West Point that I wanted to be an engineer. I loved the 39 years I served in the Corps. I loved the people. I loved all that they built, they maintained, and they operated. One of the things I came to love and eventually got into the business of hydropower because the Corps has 246 dams that generate hydropower. Really awesome education I got there. One of the big projects I was involved in and just worked with incredible people was the Katrina recovery. I was proud how the engineers accomplished the largest single authorized and appropriated project in the history of the Corps. It was $12 billion, very unusual for the Congress to authorize and appropriate the entire amount in a single year. I'm happy to report that the system was built on time and in budget because of the many great people that did it. I know we all and the other inductees could tell you all the acronyms and the language of engineers, and Ron, you certainly know them, but I think I've added two. I don't know if I stole them. I would give credit if I knew who they came from, but they're SIW and SIS. I always felt that if we got the right people together and allowed them to share ideas willingly, SIW, and steal ideas shamelessly, we would greatly advance the art and science of engineering. So I had an opportunity to do that. One of the really fun and productive trips I took with 30 of my engineers from the Corps of Engineers, the headquarters, districts. We went out to Disney World and we got to meet with their engineers to steal and share ideas. They call their engineers, by the way, Imagineers, for a good reason. They told us how Walt Disney back in the day would share a dream. He would sketch it out and talk about this new exhibit or this ride that he wanted to see. He would discuss it until they knew they had a mind meld with him. And then he let them put their imagination, creativity, and engineering expertise behind the finished product. One of the things they were working on when we went to see them, they were working on this elevator ride that was going to make you feel like you dropped 50 floors when you actually only dropped a few feet. That's Imagineering. So after spending the day with them, we met and discussed, this was my team, what we learned and what we needed to steal and incorporate into our culture and practices. The first thing my team wanted to do was to rename themselves. That night, Solutioneers became the descriptor of our engineers, and they've lived up to that name and they still use it today. You know, the engineering regiment and profession will always be strong because of the people, the great men and women in and out of uniform who serve our great nation as Solutioneers. I'm humbled to join this long line of engineers in the Citadel Academy of Engineers, and I accept this award on behalf of all those on whose shoulders I stood, on behalf of all the unsung heroes that work tirelessly to find solutions to those incredible problems out there, and on behalf of the great engineers past, many who gave their last full ounce of devotion, and present who find solutions to the most difficult challenges. May God bless you, our engineers, and our nation, building strong. Thank you for this award.
Sir. Our next Citadel Academy of Engineer Award goes to General Glenn M. Walters, a 2020 honoree, currently the 20th president of the Citadel Military College of South Carolina, a 79 graduate. Yes, sir. BS in electrical engineering, began military career as a Marine infantry officer, and after attending flight school, he was designated a naval aviator in 1981. Served as a test pilot for the AH-1W Super Cobra attack helicopter. Served as first commander of the VMX-22, the initial squadron to field the MV-22 Osprey tilt rotor aircraft. General Walters completed his 39-year military career as the assistant commandant for the Marine Corps. Sir, thank you for your service. Ladies and gentlemen, General Glenn M. Walters is being inducted for his dedicated service and sacrifice as a Marine Corps officer, culminating as the assistant commandant. His skills as a Navy aviator with enhanced the Super Cobra, as well as commander of the initial squadron of the VN-22 Osprey tilt rotor aircraft, and most notably as the 20th president of the Citadel, which places nearly 35% of its graduates until military service. Ladies and gentlemen, General Glenn Walters.
Thanks, man. Am I taller?
Thank you.
He has heels.
How's everybody doing?
Good.
So a couple of admin notes. When I walked over here right before I went out to get on my blues and pick up my wife and come over to this, I looked at the EA, Commander Bill Lind, Navy aviator. I said, "Hey, you going tonight?" No, sir, I'm going to do something else. When I got here and Ron said, "Yeah, well, keep your comments short." And said, "I'm going to have to because I didn't know I had to give any." So I've been thinking, talking to Jan and reminiscing over time at the Pentagon together. Okay, what am I going to talk about? Got to be engineering. How good is it to be an engineer? Then I'll make some brief remarks to our cadets, tell them why decisions early on in your career, much like over here, contemplating going another path while you're here because of the challenges of oh, I don't know, shining shoes, doing push-ups, sweating a square, doing a sweat party, you know, all those kind of things tend to lean you away from engineering. But here's the best benefit for all of you back there, why you have to be an engineer. This is my wife, Gail. And the first question she asked me when I met her in California was, are you an engineering major? And I, of course, said yes. And she's fine, I will go out with you. That was a little bit of a stretch story, although she did question me on a number of issues before committing. But this is a true story, and how a decision to stay in engineering and get that mindset of an engineer, that logic, that problem solving, can be impactful on where you end up 40 years later. I also, I think my freshman year, decided that this electrical engineering stuff was kind of difficult and my life would be inevitably easier if I don't know, did what my senior vice president did and go over to English. Or the commandant did because we did math plus and he just did math. But a couple of people, one of them was a professor of mine in electrical engineering, and the other was my father, who I generally obeyed, and convinced me to stay the course in electrical engineering. If they would have done that, I probably wouldn't be the president of Citadel. And I'll build that story very, very quickly because I know that Sally Selden is very more articulate and I can reread her speech if you want. But so if I didn't become an engineer, the one thing I wouldn't have gotten to do was go to test pilot school because you had to be an engineering major to become an experimental test pilot in the Department of the Navy at Pax River. If I wouldn't have done that, I wouldn't have been the test pilot for a thing called the night targeting system for the H-1W Cobra, which meant I wouldn't have gone back out to follow that system into service in MAG 39, 3rd Marine Aircraft Wing in Camp Pendleton, California. If I wasn't there, I wouldn't have met a man named Lieutenant General Fred McCorkle, call sign Assassin. And when he met me out there, I flew him on a Cobra. He was a 46 pilot. He got to know me a little bit. He loved Gail, which is why he tolerated me. But he found out that I was an electrical engineering major from the Citadel, and he's from, what's the town he's from in East Tennessee? Johnson City, Tennessee. That's where he's from. So he turns out, he leaves Wing Command, he goes back and he's the 3-star now in charge of all of Marine Aviation. And he lost this critical staff officer who was at that time called APP2, which was the budget guy for Marine Aviation. So he lost him when he was a 3-star. He calls me up and he says, so you gave up command? Yes, sir. What are you going to do? I'm going to be the wing or the Group XO and I'll wait to see if I make colonel. He says, I don't think so. And this is on January 4th. I think you should come back and work for me and be APP2. And when a 3-star says that to a lieutenant colonel, you go, can I call Gail? Sure. So I did, after the monitor told me that, yes, you're in fact going back to DC, you're doing this budget stuff, and you got to leave in February. I said, that's 3 weeks away. I called Gail and she says, that's 3 weeks away. I said, yep. And we moved back. That got me into the Pentagon in the money game, got me promoted to colonel and got me, because of my background, recognized by a couple of general officers in the Pentagon who decided that it was okay for me to be a colonel and then sent me down to ATNL, which is Acquisition Technology Logistics, where I first got involved with the B-22 program. I helped when we had a little problem with it. We got it going, and the next thing I know, I'm the commanding officer down there. Next thing you know, I'm a 1-star, 2-star, 3-star, and then I'm a 4-star. None of that would have happened, those last 4 steps, if I hadn't been an engineer, because I never would have been known as someone who could add. And McCorkle was absolutely wrong. Being an engineer and being a financier are 2 different things. But he forced me into the money game. And that apparently in the Marine Corps has some wash to it, particularly because we don't have that many that do it, which meant my trajectory was known, which is why I eventually got a wing command and then got sent over as PNR, N8, G8 for my A8 for my Air Force friends. All of because some 46 pilot from Johnson City, Tennessee, believed that a test pilot engineer could add. And I would not be here because I never would have got a chance to be that 3-star. And I never would have been the assistant commandant of the Marine Corps. Jen and I knew each other. And General Herzog, whose funeral is tomorrow, never would have called me up and said, hey, you putting your name in for this John Rose's replacement? I didn't know he was retiring, but let me talk to Gail. So it's amazing these choices you make when you stay the course, how your life can end up in the perfect place where you have the perfect wife and the perfect job leading the greatest college in the universe. So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Our next Citadel Academy of Engineer Award goes to Vice Admiral Jan Tai, a 2021 inductee. Currently serves on the board of directors for Goldman Sachs, the Huntsman Corporation, Progressive Insurance, and IronNet Cybersecurity. She's also a member of the board of trustees for the MITRE Corporation and board of directors for the U.S. Naval Academy Foundation. Ma'am, you can send somebody our way too. It's okay. We appreciate it. She graduated from the U.S. Naval Academy in 1984. She began her career as a cryptologist and served across the globe for the Navy and National Security Agency. Earned an MS in Applied Mathematics and a PhD in Electrical Engineering from Naval Postgraduate School. Vice Admiral Tai is the first woman to command a numbered fleet, the U.S. Fleet Cyber Command, and the U.S. 10th Fleet. She also served as president of the Naval Postgraduate School. Vice Admiral Tai retired from the Navy after 34 years of service, where her last assignment was as Deputy Chief of Naval Operations for Information Warfare and as the 66th Director of Naval Intelligence. Ma'am, thank you for your service. Ladies and gentlemen, Vice Admiral Tai is inducted for her dedication and sacrifice as a naval officer with 34-year career in the Navy, culminating as Deputy Chief of Naval Operations and Information Warfare and the 66th Director of Naval Intelligence. Her continuing service to our country as a board of director on numerous company boards across the nation, and her continuous service to her alma mater as at the U.S. Naval Academy as director of the U.S. Naval Academy Foundation. Ladies and gentlemen, Vice Admiral Tai.
One, two, and three.
Thank you so much.
Well, good evening.
I can honestly say that I never really expected to be here in this position, being inducted into the Academy of Engineering at the Citadel. But it's such an honor and a privilege to join all of the distinguished inductees and those who have come before. I have to do a little confessing that I'm maybe a recovering engineer is not the right word, but as an undergraduate, I started at the Naval Academy thinking I wanted to go into chemistry, maybe even chemical engineering. My academic performance that first semester, that whole push-up thing and come-arounds, it wasn't great. And I had the privilege of going back early for Christmas to an academic board where they suggested that perhaps I should think of another major, maybe political science. And I thought, no, that's never going to work. I will never graduate if I have to be a political scientist. That's just not me. So I fell back to my math roots. I come from a whole family of educators, and math is sort of our thing. But I had the second opportunity at graduate school. And so I went into a master's program in electrical engineering, and there was an opportunity for a cryptologist to apply for a PhD program. So within 6 months of starting a master's in electrical engineering, when I didn't have a bachelor's in electrical engineering, I applied for the PhD in electrical engineering. I thought, yeah, what could go wrong? So it was my privilege to be able to, for a full-time job, work on a PhD. And not just a PhD in electrical engineering, but it was really in my warfare area. As a cryptologist, communications engineering, digital signal processing, electromagnetics, cyberspace, all of those things were my warfighting domain. And I got a PhD from the Naval Postgraduate School in that area. And so I was able to use that education for the rest of my career. And I think I still fall back on it, even today. As I said, I come from an entire family of of mathematicians, but really educators. And so I was the outlier in the family, with my military career. I redeemed myself slightly when I got to be the president of the Naval Postgraduate School. And I joined, I went there in a very difficult time for the institution was going through a little bit of crisis. But it was important to me, and the Navy sent me out there to right the ship, if you will. And so I just say that to say thank you to everybody who's involved in this institution. I know it takes everyone from the administrative side to the faculty, the staff, the board of advisors, the foundation, the advisory boards to the engineering department. Everyone makes this place develop future leaders for us. And so I want to say thank you for what you do every day. And, we need critical thinkers, and the School of Engineering is certainly producing those folks for us. And thank you so much for having me here tonight and for everything that each of you do to make our future leaders.
Our next Citadel Academy of Engineer Award goes to Ms. Rebecca Ufkes. She's a 2021 honoree, currently an investor and strategic marketing consultant at Security Enhancement Systems, which provides innovative electronic access control solutions for remotely dispersed, high-value critical infrastructure and assets. She's an 87 graduate of Michigan Tech, a BS in mechanical engineering. She began her career with Cayman Aerospace for 2 years and then Sikorsky Aircraft. She remained as a consultant as she started Ufkes Engineering in 1990. After an MBA at the Citadel in 1994, she was joined by her husband, also a Michigan Tech graduate, to expand Ufkes Engineering into UEC Electronics, LLC, an ISO 9001 and an AS 9100 registered engineering design, prototyping, and manufacturing provider, with Ms. Ufkes as president. UEC became a subsidiary of Aerotech Corporation, where Ms. Ufkes continued as president and consolidated additional Aerotech assets with UEC. UEC, under her watch, received the Nunn-Perry Award for accomplishments in the DoD Mentor Protege program with Raytheon. Ms. Ufkes was recognized in 2012 as a champion of change at the White House for innovation and manufacturing in hybrid and renewable energy market. She was the recipient of the Charleston's Most Influential Women Award, and she also served on the School of Engineering Advisory Board. Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Rebecca Ufkes is being inducted for her dedicated service to our nation while growing our electronic manufacturing capabilities. Her expertise in developing young people is recognized by numerous awards. Her service on the School of Engineering Advisory Board and her continued support for protecting remotely dispersed high-value critical infrastructure and assets. Unfortunately, Ms. Ufkes could not be with us tonight. Her family suffered a recent death, and they are focused there tonight. Let us pause as we think about her family. On her behalf, I will accept this award. And she said, thank you all. And she said, thank you and congratulations to all the other inductees. She can't wait to link up with you at future Academy of Engineers, and I will present it to her next month when we have lunch. So let's thank her. We thank you for coming tonight to our event. We also like to thank our leadership team who assisted in so many ways. Would all of you please rise when I call your name? Lieutenant Colonel Robert Rabb, Miss Stephanie Fye, Miss Kristen Segalis. And then we had a bunch of others that weren't able to be here because they're teaching tonight, as they should be. Lieutenant Colonel David Greenberg, Colonel Mark McKinney, and Colonel Jeff Davis. All are teaching. Miss Claire Ryan and Miss Sam Nelson, who are graduate assistants, were here to set up, and now they're in class, of course. Sorry to make sure they didn't miss class. And then Mr. Derek Harris, who many of you have interacted with as we put all this together. He would love to be here tonight, but he is actually tomorrow at Arlington Cemetery, where his grandmother's being buried with her husband. And Miss Jay Martinko couldn't be here tonight because of all the issues with COVID. So let's all give them a round of applause. Even though I'm an engineer, I am a civil engineer, a civilized engineer, which means that I feel all this electricity in the air from these electricals, these last two individuals. But tonight would not have been a success because a couple of weeks ago, well, I guess a couple of months ago, we did the first banquet in Boyer Auditorium as well. And Boyer Auditorium does not have a very good system. Just let me tell you that. So we need to work on that, please. But it took 7 people for us to finally figure out how to get it to work. And Miss Moss was one of those that helped me that night. So I knew I was in trouble already. So please, let's recognize Miss Moss and Mr. Tom McAllister, Colonel Tom McAllister. Because they're the ones that have been making all this stuff happen. So again, thank you so much. We couldn't have done it without you. No, it's electrical, and I don't understand electrical. Stay with me, sir. Okay. Let me also recognize the following people who have made this evening such a success. Would you please stand and remain standing, and we'll be recognized as we call your name. We have Cadet Haymaker and Cadet Strunk. Oh, they're already gone. I guess they wanted to study, but I think they need a round of applause. I mean, come on. Believe it or not, they both asked, are we recording it? And the answer is yes. And they want to show that to their parents because I thought it was awesome. I hope you did too. We'd like to thank Citadel Catering. Thank you, Roman, in the back. And of course, ladies, Keepsake Florist. The arrangement, ladies at the table, you can arm wrestle for who gets to take it home. Gentlemen, have at it as well at that table. Let's start to Selden gets back there. Okay, you're giving it to Dunn? Okay, gotcha. But please take it home. They've been bought and paid for. Enjoy them for the entire weekend. At your table, there's a whiskey glass or a milk glass. A good engineer always has a Citadel Engineering whiskey glass to celebrate the accomplishments of others, especially engineers. All previous Academy of Engineering awardees, and General Van, next time you're in town, please stop by. I have yours with a name on it. With these awards, we have inducted our 8th and 9th classes consisting of 6 distinguished engineering leaders into the Citadel Academy of Engineers. Could I ask all inductees that are here with us tonight to come to the front of the dais for a photo? A socially distanced photo, double arm's length. And Mr. Coasley will take a photo. 1 second. And if I can get the previous inductees over here on the side, we'll have you join as well. So go ahead, Sean. Go ahead and take a photo of this group. 3, 2, 1. If I could have the 3 previous inductees come up here and join them with Dr. Selden, if you could join on one end, I'll be on the other. So much for social distance, right? Please stay here. Please stay here. Just spread out a little bit. What we do is going to ask them to stay up here. So if you'd like to come up and congratulate them personally, they'll spread out a little bit for that to happen. We hope that you enjoyed the event. Hope you will join us again next year as we might be able to have more people join us. Please drive safely and have a good night.